Peace be with you, beloved one. You are welcome here. Rest your heart, take a deep breath, and know you are not alone in this moment. You are seen, you are loved, and you are carried by a presence far greater than you have yet imagined. Before we walk together in today's teaching, I want to invite you to join me in this journey of light. If what you hear today stirs your soul, I ask gently that you leave a comment to share your reflection, subscribe so you may walk with us again, and share this message with someone you know who longs for peace, hope, or restoration. Let us spread the fragrance of grace together. And now hear this truth as if it were whispered to you by the Anointed One himself. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Even now, the seed of your destiny may be hidden beneath the soil of ordinary days. Even now, heaven is watching over what seems fragile, unnoticed, and too small to matter. And yet, from the smallest seed comes the greatest tree. From the quiet beginning comes the unfolding of the eternal plan. This is the truth many forget. God's works rarely begin in grandeur. They begin in silence, in obscurity, in the humble places where few are watching. But the Spirit never overlooks what is small. For in what is small, God is preparing what will become mighty. And here is the mystery. Your life, as it is right now, may be one of those beginnings, a season where you feel unseen, underestimated, or delayed. But in the hiddenness of today, the Lord is forming something greater than you can yet perceive. Stay with me, because in this message, we will walk through the deep wisdom of Zechariah's vision, where God spoke, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." We will uncover why heaven rejoices in what seems too small to celebrate, and we will discover how your own life, though fragile in this moment, may already carry the shape of a future too glorious for you to yet hold. Beloved, let me ask you gently, have you ever felt as though your efforts do not matter? As though your prayers rise but fall back unanswered? As though the work of your hands is too little to be noticed, too late to be meaningful? If you have felt this, you are not alone. This is a path every child of God has walked. But here lies the hidden treasure of His Word. The beginning is never the end, and the small is never wasted. Think for a moment of the way a river begins. It is not wide at its source. It is a trickle, a hidden spring in a place few ever visit. But as it flows, it gathers strength. It carves valleys. It becomes the life-giving force that sustains cities. And so it is with your journey. The smallness you see today is not the measure of what shall be tomorrow. Listen closely. Even the Son of God entered the world in the smallest way, not as a king with armies, not as a voice that thundered across nations, but as a child in a manger. The world overlooked him, yet all creation knew that in that fragile cry lay the salvation of the ages. If heaven did not despise such a small beginning, why should you despise your own? You see, we are often impatient for greatness. We want the fruit before the planting. We want the harvest before the waiting. But God's ways are not hurried. His timing is not rushed. He takes delight in beginnings because He already sees the ending. He rejoices not in what is finished, but in what is faithful. And this is what I want to leave gently on your heart. Your beginning, though small, is enough for God to rejoice in. It is enough for heaven to sing over. It is enough for the Spirit to whisper, "Yes, this is the work, and it is good." Stay with me as we go deeper, because what comes next is a truth that may set your heart free from the burden of comparison, from the weariness of delay, and from the lie that your life must be large to matter. For in the kingdom of God, the small carries the power of eternity. Beloved, hear me now. When God spoke to the prophet Zechariah, the people of Israel were discouraged. The temple had lain in ruins. The work was slow, and those who looked upon the foundation mocked it for its simplicity. It seemed too little, too late. And yet God said, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Notice this. He did not say the Lord rejoices when the temple is complete. He did not say the Lord rejoices when all is glorious and finished. He said the Lord rejoices at the beginning. The moment the hand is lifted to start, the moment the heart says yes, the moment the seed is sown. That is when heaven breaks forth in joy. And so I say to you, do not despise your prayer whispered in the night. Do not despise the single act of kindness you chose when no one was watching. Do not despise the quiet word of faith you spoke when fear tried to silence you. For in heaven's eyes, this is the beginning of something that cannot be measured. Every tree begins as a seed. Every light begins as a spark. Every saint begins as a sinner redeemed. And every great work of God begins in a moment where the world sees nothing, but heaven sees everything. Perhaps today, you are waiting for your life to bloom. Perhaps you feel you are still buried in the soil, unseen, uncelebrated, uncertain. But beloved, remember this. The soil is not your grave. The soil is your womb. What looks like darkness is shelter. What feels like hiding is preparation. And the very silence you fear may be the silence in which roots grow deep. Oh, how gentle is our God. He does not rush the seed. He does not uproot what is hidden before its time. He allows it to remain small until the hour is ready for it to break forth. And so he does with you. Stay with me, for what I will share next may shift how you see your life forever. For the kingdom of heaven is built not on what the world calls great, but on what the world overlooks. And in what is overlooked, God plants his greatest treasures. Beloved, let us walk together into a story you may know but perhaps have not yet seen with this light. When David was chosen as king, he was not chosen from the palace. He was not chosen from the armies. He was not chosen from the strong, the skilled, or the celebrated. He was chosen from the pasture. He was the youngest, overlooked even by his own father, forgotten when Samuel came searching. And yet, the Spirit of the Lord whispered to Samuel, "Rise, anoint him. This is the one." What seemed too small, too ordinary, too unworthy, was, in fact, the vessel of God's great plan. Do not despise the pasture. Do not despise the hidden years where no one calls your name. For it is in those years that your hands are trained, your heart is softened, and your spirit learns to hear the shepherd's voice. It is there, in the pasture, that the giant killer is born. Oh, beloved, how often we pray for our destiny while despising the pasture. We long for the crown but reject the shepherd's staff. We long for the throne but overlook the field. Yet God rejoices in beginnings. He rejoices in the unseen, because he knows what will be revealed. And so it was with Moses. 40 years hidden. The wilderness. 40 years where it seemed nothing was happening. And yet, in that silence, God was shaping a deliverer. From the burning bush, the voice of the Lord declared what Moses himself could not yet believe. "I will send you." You see, heaven celebrates what earth dismisses. Heaven delights in what the world overlooks. And heaven rejoices not only in the finished temple, not only in the crowned king, not only in the parted sea, but in the very beginning when the first stone is laid, when the first step is taken, when the first yes is whispered. Perhaps your life right now feels like that. First step. Perhaps you have only enough strength for one prayer, one act of courage, one beginning. Hear me. That is enough. It is enough for God to rejoice. It is enough for angels to sing. It is enough for heaven to move on your behalf. Do not despise. Do not say, "It is too little." For the one who multiplied the loaves and fishes knows how to take what is small and feed multitudes. Let me ask you gently, do you remember when Elijah prayed for rain after years of drought? He bowed low. He prayed earnestly. Yet at first there was no sign. He sent his servant to look toward the sea, and the servant returned again and again with nothing to report. But on the seventh time he said, "I see a cloud, as small as a man's hand, rising from the sea." That was all. Not a storm, not a flood, not even enough to cover the sky, just a cloud, small as a hand. But Elijah rose and said, "Go, for the rain is coming. Do not despise the cloud the size of a hand. Do not despise the first glimmer, the first whisper, the first stirring. For in what is small, the fullness of God's promise is already present. The storm was hidden in the cloud, just as your future may be hidden in this fragile moment. Beloved, lean in. There is a secret here for those who have ears to hear. God does not measure beginnings by size, but by faith. It is not the magnitude of what you hold, but the surrender of your heart as you hold it. He asks not, "Is it large enough?" but "Is it faithful enough?" And if your answer is yes, even trembling, even small, then heaven rejoices and the work is already blessed. But perhaps you are weary. Perhaps you have begun before only to falter. Perhaps you feel as though your beginnings have been wasted. Let me speak to that tender place in you. In the hands of God, no beginning is wasted. Even what seems broken, even what seems failed, is woven into the tapestry of grace. For our Father does not simply use our victories, He redeems our stumblings too. Peter denied Christ 3 times. That was his ending, or so he thought. But on the shore of Galilee, the risen Christ came to him not with condemnation, but with restoration. 3 times he asked, "Do you love me?" And 3 times Peter answered until his heart was healed. From that small beginning, Peter rose to be the rock on which the church was built. Beloved, do not despise even the place of your failure. Do not despise the day when you stumble and rise again. For every return, every repentant cry, every new beginning is precious to God. Heaven does not rejoice in your perfection. Heaven rejoices in your return. And the Father, who runs to embrace the prodigal, delights in every step you take toward home. Oh, the beauty of our God! He does not demand that we leap into greatness. He only asks that we take the next step. One prayer, one act of love, one seed sown, and in His time the harvest comes. Beloved, may I tell you something I have learned through tears and waiting? God is never late, but He is never rushed. And often He will keep us in the place of small beginnings longer than we desire. Why? Because He loves us too deeply to entrust us with more than we are ready to carry. The roots must grow deep before the tree can rise tall. The foundation must be strong before the house can be built. The heart must be tested before the crown can be worn. And though we may long for the branches, He knows the roots are the true strength. So He rejoices in the hidden work, the unseen growth, the days when it seems nothing is changing. For He knows that when the time comes, what was small will stand strong. Beloved, this is why we are called to faith. Faith is not believing when all is visible. It is trusting when all is hidden. Faith is not celebrating when the temple is complete. It is rejoicing when only the first stone is laid. Faith is not dancing when the storm comes. It is believing when the sky shows only a cloud the size of a hand. And so the Spirit whispers to you even now, do not despise what is small. Do not compare your beginning to another's ending. Do not judge your story before it has unfolded. For what is small in your eyes is celebrated in mine. Beloved, let us pause here. Let us breathe. Let us rest in the truth that you are not behind. You are not forgotten, and you are not too late. You are exactly where God is meeting you, and the beginning of your next chapter is already holy in His sight. Stay with me, because what I will share next is the deepest mystery of all, that the kingdom itself, the very reign of God, was compared by Jesus to the smallest of seeds, and from that seed the greatest of trees grows. The eternal kingdom, begun as a whisper, shall one day fill the whole earth. And if this is true of His kingdom, beloved, it is also true of your life. And so Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches, do you see? The kingdom itself is compared not to a mountain, not to a river, not to a mighty cedar of Lebanon, but to the smallest seed, nearly invisible between the fingers. And yet within it lies the power to grow into shelter, provision, and abundance for all who come. Beloved, here is the mystery. The greatness of God is hidden in the smallest of beginnings, and the smallest of beginnings, when planted in faith, carry eternity within them. This is why Jesus taught us not to measure faith by its size, but by its essence. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, he said, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Did you hear it? It is not the size of your faith, but the presence of it. It is not how loud your prayer sounds, but that it is prayed. It is not how grand your offering looks, but that it is given with a whole heart. The smallest seed of faith is already mighty in God's hands. So, beloved, do not despise your prayer whispered through tears. Do not despise the act of forgiveness you struggle to release. Do not despise the first trembling step back toward God, for the kingdom is hidden in that seed, and from it the impossible is born. But let us go deeper still, for there is a reason God delights in beginnings, however small. It is because beginnings hold the essence of trust. In the beginning we cannot yet see the outcome. We cannot yet boast of the fruit. We cannot yet rely on our strength. We can only rely on Him. And this is what delights the Father, the child who takes His hand, not knowing where the road will lead, but trusting that it is good. Perhaps you have prayed, Lord, show me the whole plan, and then I will walk. But often He answers, take the first step, and then I will show you the next. And though it seems small, that first step is the holiest of all, because it is taken not with sight, but with faith. Beloved, hear this. The greatness of your life will not be built on what you can see. It will be built on what you believe. It will be built on the trust you place in the unseen hand that guides you. And that trust is proven in beginnings. Let us linger here with Jesus in His own small beginnings. He began His ministry not in the courts of kings, but at the Jordan River, in the wilderness, baptized by John. He began not with crowds, but with few fishermen, simple men who left their nets to follow Him. He began not with miracles before thousands, but with water turned quietly into wine at a wedding feast, seen by only a handful of servants. The Son of God Himself embraced the small beginning. Why? Because He knew the Father rejoices in the seed, the spark, the whisper that will one day change the world. If He was not ashamed of small beginnings, then you need not be ashamed of yours. But perhaps, beloved, there is something deeper in you that whispers, my beginning is not small, it is broken. It is not holy, it is flawed. How can God rejoice in this? Oh, hear me gently. The broken beginning is not despised by Him, for His mercy is greater than your weakness. His redemption is stronger than your failure. And in His hands, even broken beginnings become sacred. The thief on the cross had only a single moment left to begin again. And yet when he turned and said, Lord, remember me, Jesus replied, today you will be with me in paradise. Even in the final breath, a beginning can be holy. Even in the ashes, beauty can rise. Even in the place you feel most unworthy, His grace is waiting to begin anew. So do not despise even the broken start. For God can take what is marred and make it beautiful. He can take what is wasted and make it fruitful. He can take what you think is too late and declare, behold, I make all things new. Beloved, let us walk now into reflection. Think of your own life. Where are the small beginnings that you have overlooked? Is it the prayer you have prayed in silence? The habit you have tried to form, though it feels weak? The kindness you offered that seemed unnoticed? The dream God placed in you that feels too far away? Do not despise these things, for they are holy beginnings. And even now, the Father is rejoicing in them. If you could see heaven's perspective, you would know that angels sing not only when crowns are won, but when hearts begin to turn. They sing when the first stone is laid. They sing when the seed is planted. They sing when you choose again to rise. Heaven does not wait for the ending to celebrate. Heaven celebrates the beginning. So, beloved, hear the voice of the Anointed. One whisper to you now. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for I see what you cannot see. I rejoice where you cannot yet rejoice. And I am with you, not only in the glory of completion, but in the fragile beauty of the start. Rest in this. Let it wash over you like gentle rain. Your life is not measured by size, but by faith. Not by how far you have gone, but by your willingness to begin again with me. And if you are listening now, wondering if it is too late, wondering if you are too small, wondering if you have been forgotten, let this be your moment. Take the step, however small. Lift the prayer, however faint. Begin again, however trembling. For heaven rejoices in your beginning, and the Anointed One himself is with you, smiling over the seed that you carry. Beloved, as we prepare to close this part of our journey, let me leave you with this invitation. Do not despise your beginnings. Celebrate them, nurture them, protect them, speak life over them. For in them, God is already at work. And as you go, remember to share this message with someone who needs hope today. Leave a comment to share what God has begun in you, however small it may seem. And subscribe, so we may walk together again in peace and in truth. May the grace of the Anointed One guard your heart, and may the small seed within you grow into a tree of life for many. Peace be with you again, beloved soul. You have returned, and that itself is a holy act. Every time you return to listen, to learn, to seek the gentle whisper of God's Spirit, it is itself a beginning. Do not despise even this, for each return is like a seed watered. Each listening is like light given to a hidden sprout, and each choice to lean into the Word is a new step on the eternal path. So let us continue. Let us go deeper into this truth, where the heart finds rest and the weary find renewal. Beloved, do you remember how the disciples felt after the crucifixion? Their dreams had ended. The one they followed was gone. They hid behind locked doors, afraid and uncertain. It was the darkest of beginnings, one they did not even recognize as a beginning. To them, it looked like the end. But then came the resurrection. Then came the voice of Jesus saying, "Peace be with you." Then came the outpouring of the Spirit at Pentecost. What they thought was the end was only the seed of the greatest beginning the world had ever known. Do not despise the moments that feel like endings. Do not despise the closed doors, the disappointments, the times when you feel all has been lost. For in the kingdom of God, the end is often the doorway into the truest beginning. The cross itself looked like defeat, but the cross was the seed of salvation. The grave looked like silence, but the grave was the womb of resurrection. What looked like darkness was the dawn of light for all nations. So it is in your life. What feels like the end may already be the holy soil in which your new beginning is taking root. Beloved, we often ask, why does God start small? Why does He not reveal the fullness at once? Why must we walk slowly, step by step, instead of running into glory? The answer is love. A sudden greatness could crush us. A glory too heavy could break us. A harvest too soon could spoil. But in the small beginnings, we are gently prepared. We are strengthened day by day, until we are able to carry what He desires to entrust to us. Think of a child learning to walk. A father does not despise the first stumbling steps. He does not scold when the child falls. He rejoices. He claps his hands. He lifts the child up again. Every fall, every attempt, every step is precious to Him. So it is with your beginnings. God rejoices in them because they are the proof that you are growing, that you are rising, that you are walking with Him. Do not despise the stumble. Do not despise the slow progress. For your Father rejoices in every step, and His delight is not in how fast you run, but in the love with which you walk. Beloved, I want you to hold a picture in your heart. Imagine a potter at his wheel. In his hands is clay, formless and soft. At first it looks like nothing. It does not resemble the beauty it will one day hold. But the potter is not frustrated. He rejoices as he begins to shape, to press, to mold, for he already sees in his heart the vessel that shall emerge. You are that clay, and your life as it is right now may feel formless, incomplete, too small to be called beautiful. But the potter rejoices even now, for he sees not only what you are, but what you are becoming. And he whispers, Do not despise this stage, for I am with you in it, and my hands are upon you. Beloved, trust the potter, for what he begins he will finish, and though the beginning is small, the ending will be glorious. But listen closely, for here is another truth. The enemy of your soul will always try to make you despise your beginnings. He will whisper, "This is too little. This is too late. This will never amount to anything." He will show you the greatness of others and say, "Look at them. You are nothing compared to them." But he is a liar, for he knows that if you honor your beginning, it will grow into something he cannot stop. He knows that if you protect the seed, it will break the ground. And he fears the harvest hidden inside of you. This is why he tempts you to despise it, to give up too soon, to abandon the field before the fruit has ripened. But the Spirit whispers differently. The Spirit says, "Do not compare. Do not despise. Only trust. For your beginning, however small, is holy to God. Beloved, do not surrender the seed. Do not uproot what has only just begun. Guard it with prayer. Water it with patience. Trust it with faith. And in time you will see that nothing planted in God is ever wasted." Now let us turn our eyes to Jesus again. He taught us that the kingdom is like leaven hidden in flour. At first it seems invisible, but given time it spreads, it transforms. It makes the whole loaf rise. This is the nature of God's beginnings. They are hidden, often unseen by others, sometimes even by ourselves. But quietly they work. Quietly they spread. Quietly they transform everything. So it is with the Spirit's work in you. Even if you feel no change today, even if you see no fruit yet, the leaven is working. The seed is growing. The potter is shaping. And your Father is rejoicing. Beloved, I know you may still wonder, how can I keep hope alive in the waiting? How can I honor a beginning that feels so slow? Let me give you 3 gentle ways. First, gratitude. Give thanks for even the smallest step. Thank Him not only for the harvest, but for the seed. Thank Him not only for the finished temple, but for the first stone laid. Second, faithfulness. Be faithful in what is little, and you will be trusted with much. Do not wait for greatness to practice obedience. Do not wait for the throne to live with integrity. Do not wait for the harvest to care for the field. Third, patience. The seed does not bloom in a day. The roots must go down before the branches rise up. Do not rush what God is doing in you, for His timing is perfect, and every delay is a form of love. These 3, gratitude, faithfulness, patience, will guard your beginning and carry you into the fullness of His promise. Beloved, I want to remind you of something tender and true. God Himself delights not only in beginnings, but in new beginnings. Every morning when the sun rises, it is a reminder that His mercies are new. Every dawn is a whisper from heaven. You can begin again. You are not bound by yesterday. You are not chained to your past. You are not disqualified by your failures. For in Christ, every day is a new beginning. Do not despise it. Do not say, "It is too late." For the one who makes all things new has declared that even now, a new day has begun for you. Beloved, as we come toward the end of this teaching, let us gather what we have heard. Do not despise your beginning, no matter how small, for heaven rejoices in it. Do not despise your waiting, no matter how long, for God is using it to prepare you. Do not despise your failures, no matter how heavy, for grace makes even broken beginnings beautiful. Your life, right now, as it is holy. And your story, though still unfolding, is already precious in the eyes of God. So take courage, do not despise, do not compare, do not give up. Instead, celebrate your beginning. Honor it, protect it, for the one who rejoices in it will also bring it to completion. Beloved, if this word has touched you, I invite you gently to leave a comment below and share what beginning God is stirring in your life. Subscribe, so we may continue this journey together in peace and in truth. And share this with someone you love, someone who may need to know that their small beginning is holy too. May the Anointed One who rejoices in the seed bless your beginning and bring it to fruitfulness. May His peace keep your heart steady, and may His love remind you daily that you are never alone. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Peace be with you, beloved. Peace always.